Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, I haven't done a product review in a long while. Probably haven't bought anything in a long while that I wanted to review on video. But I am going to review this today, and we're talking about the Garmin speed and cadence sensor, which links to the Garmin watch, or any Garmin watch. And I'm going to show you how to fit it on the bike, and I'm also going to show you how to pair it up. And then I'm going to review how my first use went with it. Now it has a speed sensor and a cadence sensor. The speed sensor fits on the rear hub and the cadence sensor fits around one of the crank arms. I'm going to show you how to do that, so let's head to the bike and take it from there. Okay, so let's just head out through my rather weird house to the turbo. We keep the turbo and all of our gym equipment in a sort of converted garage, but it is quite useful. And here we are at the turbo. Bending down can be a bit of a pain, so I've raised the bike up onto the bike stand, which makes it slightly easier. I suggest if any of you are doing this, if you have a bike stand, great. Otherwise you can just leave it on the turbo, and that probably should be good enough to steady it. Here we are looking at the rear hub, and the Garmin actually has Garmin on it, but it doesn't say which way round you should actually place the sensor. So I'm going to place it that way round, and that's how easy it is to fit, making sure it's not hitting any of the hub or any of the spokes or anything. Just give it a little spin to make sure it does go round, and it does. Doesn't seem to be hitting anything. That seems to be well installed and very easy. So we're now looking at the crank arm, and the crank arm you use is the one that's away from the gearing, obviously, otherwise putting this on the inside might actually hit. We have 3 different size bands to fit it to, and you're meant to fit it to the smallest possible one. Well, I've tried 2 of them and that's not worked, so I'm going to go to the largest band, and I think that will work. So we're going to pop it in its groove on one side of the sensor, put the sensor behind the crank, and then just slip it over. Well, that actually works. We have the sensor there. Now the thing to do is actually see if we can connect it to the Garmin and pair the devices. So to activate the sensors, we're going to go in to settings, sensors and accessories, add new. I'm going to search all. At that point I have to start pedaling. Foot pod, select to add, cadence, select to add, and those 2 are now added. Cadence connected, so both now are connected. Very easy. So here we are looking at my Garmin account. I just wanted to check the sensors to see if they work, and I did a warm up of 15 minutes. You can see here 15:03, and we just wanted to see if the speed sensors worked. So have a look at that, and we can see that's fairly responsive, working the whole time. And the cadence sensor, let's just have a look at that graph opened up. Obviously this is where I stopped pedaling for couple of minutes or a couple of seconds to do particular things, but again this is fairly responsive as a cadence record. But I did another ride straight after that where I did 2 10-minute efforts. You can see here 2 10-minute efforts, slowly but surely picking it up and slowly but surely picking it up. But if you look at the bottom, the cadence seems to be missing at some points. It just seems to disappear for some reason. It seems to be connected, but it just jumps from one place to another. That didn't make sense to me. So I actually downloaded a workout to my watch and did that as well. So this is a full 45-minute workout of warming up for 15 minutes, then 10-minute effort plus 1 minute out the saddle hard, 10-minute effort, 1 minute out the saddle hard. But you can see the actual cadence now is working the whole time. We don't seem to have a problem. And again, that's pretty responsive to what I was doing. And let's just check the speed sensor. And again, pretty responsive to actually what I was doing most of the time. You can see it, the sort of warm up, slowly but surely getting increase in speed, and then these 10-minute efforts goes down and 1 minute out the saddle hard, and that's repeated twice. So that's really pleasing that both actually are working as they should. Well, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised with how easily the speed sensor and the cadence sensor, to a large extent, fitted on the bike. There was absolutely no difficulty in fitting them on. And then after that, it was fairly easy to actually link them up to the watch as well. Now, one of the important things about the speed and cadence sensor is they suddenly turn your bike into a really good workout doer, and you can download workouts to your watch and then do them. That third set that you saw was actually downloaded to the watch, and all I did was follow this and then recorded everything I did. And you can work as hard as you want, as soft as you want, and you can put particular things in the workout that you want to do. If you had a power meter, you could also do power. But I can only work on heart rate or speed or zones that I want to be in. That's fine for me. I have a very simple turbo. You might have a slightly more complex turbo. But this worked tremendously well, and I'm very pleased with the Garmin sensors that I've installed. It certainly turns my winter workouts that will be indoors for simplicity and safety as really meaningful workouts, which they weren't before. So I have, for the Garmin cadence and speed sensor, a big thumbs up, and I suggest if you are a Garmin watch holder, install those two sensors and you'll actually change your workouts to be much more meaningful. Okay, that's it for this week. It's getting dark in the mornings, have you noticed? Well, it's coming towards winter and the end of the triathlon season. But next week we'll be looking at more swimming. See you then. Keep well, keep training.